All right, everybody. It is 6 o'clock p.m., really in color people's time. Welcome to Happy Hour. And of course, it's it's the VINCE folks. Normally I start at 5:30, but I actually wasn't feeling well, so I decided to take a nap, and lo and behold, I wake up and it's past 5:30. How about that? But hey, even I get sick. But you know what, folks? The show must go on. And folks, the Kick account is now set up, which is good. So we'll try to do a duplicate simulcast between Kick tomorrow. Hopefully that thing works. I'm going to be honest with you, folks. I may just exclusively stream on Kick and just run regular videos here. That way I can actually have good content, in other words, just like the good old days. I think at this point in time, it's like Chuck E. Cheese said, the only thing YouTube wants is shorts. They don't want nothing else. They don't want anything else except shorts. They don't want actual videos. They don't want people reviewing videos neither. Well, with Kick and everything, that's also possible to do an IRL stream as well. So, I mean, that's definitely possible. I mean, it would actually be easier to do. I'm always used to this format because I can, because the main crux of my live streams is reaction videos. But even then, we can have some Vince Goodrum Raw. I mean, that's what I started out with. But I will tell you right now, in the news today, Christy Nones got a nice new job. She is now, let's check Wikipedia. Y'all give a shout out. She is, oh, that's weird. The job actually disappeared or some shit. I don't know what happened. They created some sort of weird job for her, but she got fired today. She is no longer the Secretary of Home Security. No more! But what happened to her other job? That's odd. She had another job that Trump appointed her to. It was some sort of made-up job. But I guess they just took it down. Ah, here it is. United States Special Envoy for the Shield of America. That's what she was promoted to. Since March the 5th. You know what, folks? The Great One has no idea what the hell this position is. I don't know what this is. But the reason why she was probably appointed to this position is, one, it allows the president to save face. And two, at the end of the day, she's still a Trump loyalist. She is still loyal to Trump. And that's what you need, is loyalty. But there goes the end of a very brutal tenure. You know, it's got to be a shame. You go from being the governor of South Dakota to this. And you know what? She did it on her own. She just simply didn't listen to what the president told her to do. You know, that's what happens in the, you know, you guys know that I used to work in the pro wrestling industry. You know, some of these Republicans, you know, Ladybug, Lindsey Graham, Myrtle the Turtle, Mitch McConnell, they decided to do something what's called going into business here. You know, going into business for yourself. And that's the problem with Christie. She went into business with herself. Up there firing a pilot because he forgot her blanket was left on the other plane. Come on now. Really? You fire a person because they accidentally left your blanket on another plane whenever... And then you have to hire him back because you realize that you ain't got no pilot. Not only that, the advisor, Corey Ludowski, shit. He went into the pilot's flight deck while it was still climbing. It wasn't at 10,000, the plane wasn't at 10,000 square feet. Very dangerous to do. Very stupid. You're not even supposed to do that. There's FAA guidelines. You can't do that. You want to go back there? Call back there. But don't go and storm someone's flight deck because some damn blanket. You could get someone killed, you moron. Yeah, I know Fuentes is saying he's going to vote for Newsom. The Hodge twins? They've turned their back on... Everyone's turning their back on Trump right now. Everybody. I mean, I hate to tell you this, but... I mean, you gotta FAFO, you know? What do you expect? Let's go play that Nick Fuentes thing. I want to go play that. I'm gonna play that in just a minute, Matt. But in the meantime, folks, get your questions in. I do not want to see that. Wait a minute, he has a Rumble account, actually. Somewhere down the line, Quick Pump, they're probably related. I am not going to try to... I always keep forgetting that Nick Fuentes is like Vegan Games. He'll stream for hours and hours and hours on end. I gotta admire some of these people that they could stream for that long. But on the other hand, folks, I did one time stream for 6 hours. I forgot that. Never mind. I forgot that I did one time stream for... I used to stream... Most of my streams used to last for 4 to 5 hours. That was when I was not working a regular job. Now, folks, if things ever get better again, and I'm able to no longer have to do medical claims, I can guarantee I'll be back to streaming 4 or 5 hours a day. Easy. Because then I'll actually have time. Quick Pump, my cousin isn't doing great. I'll be honest with you. He's not doing great. He's doing bad. But you know what, folks? I need to go get my water cup that was given to me by my good friend Pugman. So hang tight. I'll be right back. There we go. And of course, we got some news report from poor little Wes Watson. I have to be very careful because I already got a community strike.
Hello.
I stand by my first case there, Matt. I'll tell you this right now. You know, my cousin dating someone, is she going to, it's sort of like a Wes Watson situation. Is she dating him for clout or whatever? And does she look like Vegan Gain's ex-wife Jasmine? You know, it would be kind of funny, Matt, that if his new girlfriend looked like Jasmine.
You guys, you are not going to believe the day I've had. I just got off of a 2.5-hour phone call with somebody from Wes's very inner circle, somebody very close to
Wes doesn't have an inner circle. He just has a bunch of drug fiends.
him. But before we get into any of that, welcome back. Any of you probably
Casual dating. Matt, that's just short for screwing. Friends with benefits.
know by now, Wes has been flaunting his new relationship all over social media. He's been dating this girl named Megan. She's very young, and he's been posting about this relationship nonstop. Anybody who's over the age of 13 and who is mature, and anyone who's an adult, can obviously see that this is just a pathetic attempt to make Angie jealous. He's just so immature and transparent, it's hilarious. But nonetheless, he's been posting pictures of them together all over his social media. He's posting photos like this of them in matching outfits, her showing off.
And they actually broke up, folks.
Her BBL. He was even posting private messages that she sent to him, like little videos and stuff, and text messages between the two of them, I guess to prove to us that this is a real relationship and that he's not the trick that we all know he is. I swear this is the type of shit like me and my little lame friends used to do in high school to make our boyfriends jealous. We would like post pictures with other guys and our boyfriends would do the same to us. It's just so childish. I mean, come on. It's not exactly something you do when your frontal lobe is fully developed, but nonetheless, he is on the internet trying to prove to us that they are locked in, as they say.
Oh, this is someone who's been following around Wes Watson a bunch.
It's like we lost my husband. You gotta be my husband.
Wild, because recently he was on his Instagram out or buying her a thing, she will not be with your dorky ass. You relapsed after 14 years because you're such a narcissist and not being able to control Angie in any way, shape, or form, not with money, not with your words and supposed wisdom, not with your game, not with your muscles, nothing, not a single thing could get Angie to conform to all your ideas and perspectives. And that caused him to pick up alcohol and then get into the drugs. Wild. Yes, it is wild because recently he was on his Instagram story bragging about how he finally has a girl who's different. All the girls he dated in the past were sex workers, but he finally is with a girl who has a good family. She has a good relationship with her father, and she's not, a whore.
The biggest difference is she actually likes me. You can tell she actually loves me. I can tell. It makes me feel kind of stupid that I was with all these other chicks that obviously didn't. But those type of chicks can't love anything. They don't love themselves. They were strippers or sex workers or whatever the fuck. I find out later that they're hookers. When you guys were like, oh, you're with this hooker, I didn't fucking pay. I never found a girl and said, I'm going to pay this hooker. In Miami, you'll meet a chick and she ends up being a hooker. She's just not one. She's just...
Let's see here. Yep, I did see that. What is going on with this? Don't tell me it's doing this again. I swear. Matt, this is exactly why I'm beginning to hate Streamlabs. The alert box just doesn't work again. Once again, it doesn't freaking work. Why do I even bother? And this is about the 5th time I've had to replace it. It really is. And it's getting I will be honest with you, it's getting old at this point. It really is. I don't know why it does that for. I really don't. What am I going to do? You know what? I'll deal with that in just a minute here. Jeez. I just hate it when... I'm really beginning to hate Streamlabs. I really am. But I am going to stay calm. I definitely appreciate the donation. I guess I'll have to reset that stupid box again.
This is what I'm talking about. They brought us to war in Iran. What about that don't you understand? We're in a regime change war with Iran. And people go, but the Democrats, but what? We're the party in control and look at what they did to us. You're going to vote. How are you going to convince yourself to vote for this? How? How is it done? Do you see them deporting anybody? No. They're not even deporting anybody. So what the fuck are you talking about? I can't get past open borders. Dude, we're effectively giving 40 million illegals an amnesty. What are you talking about? It would be one thing if Republicans were deporting 1 million illegals a year. You would then maybe have an argument. Maybe. But they're not even building the wall. They're not building the wall. They're not deporting anybody. And we're in a war with Iran. Forget it. Forget it. You're unconvinced? Sorry. Watch another show. Do something else. We are not listening to this. We are not listening. Like I said, another sucker is born every day. You want to convince yourself to vote for this bullshit? Fine. I'm done arguing about it. It's the same thing with the vaccine. I remember when everybody was getting the vaccine, they would super chat the show and they'd say, hey, Nick, I know you said don't get the vaccine, but you see, I have this job and blah, blah, blah. And I would say, look, man, if you're willing to get the vaccine, then you will let them do anything to you. I don't even care if you believe in it. These are our precious bodily fluids. If you let the government make you get vaccinated because you're afraid of losing your precious job, I said, then you don't deserve to be a free man. You deserve to be raped. But that was during the pandemic. It was the same thing. You people have no fucking balls. None of you. I challenge you to grow a pair. Seriously. And do the thing that, you know, maybe don't feel like doing. The thing that maybe feels unsafe. And it's...
Folks, I got the vaccine and I don't regret it in any form or fashion.
It's the exact same thing. During the pandemic, I would tell people, whatever you do, don't get vaccinated. And people would say, but Nick, see, I get what you're saying, but I have this job or I want to get into college. And they wanted me to tell them, oh, well, in that case, you know, get the vaccine. And I would tell them, no, I'm not going to argue with you. You want to get it, you're a bitch. You're a slave. You will do anything. You will literally tolerate anything. It's not like the vaccine was voluntary. They said, if you don't get it, you're fired. And that's why you're getting it, because you're compromised. And I don't fuck with people that compromise like that. And this is the same thing. They brought us to war in Iran, all of them. They're all liable. And you go, I just don't know how we get over the open borders thing. If you would vote for a party, it's not even theoretical. They brought us to war with Iran. If you vote for that, you will tolerate anything. You will tolerate anything. Anything.
It's not a matter of tolerating. He's been elected president. You're just as fault as anyone else here. If you want to go blame someone, you told people to go vote for Trump. So, I mean, there's a count. You could say what you want now, but that's not what you said over a year and a half ago. So you better stay loyal and stay on the Trump train. If you're not going to be loyal to Trump, then shut the fuck up.
If you vote for this, do it. Go ahead. It doesn't hurt me. You want to do it, knock yourself out. If you would do that, I don't count you among our ranks. This is Gideon's army. I don't need 3 million. I don't need 3,000. Give me 300. This is Gideon's army. You're not down with this? Hey, lots of luck. You're not a groiper.
Oh boy, what a weirdo. But again, thanks for the donation. Like I said, I'm gonna have to once again load up the alert box. Why? Because it just keeps screwing up. I just don't get that. It's beginning to get on my nerves, to be honest with you. But folks, get your questions in while I get this taken care of. Again. Oh boy. Yeah, Wes isn't a strange guy. It's just that he's trying to portray a life that he simply can't own, basically. He can't own it. And I mean, you're gonna have people like that. Actually, he told people not to vote for Trump. I thought he told people. Maybe I'm thinking of another person, Matt. That's probably what it is. I'm probably thinking somebody else. How big do you think VG can get while staying healthy? Red Panda, he's already reached his limit at this point in time. I don't think he can get much bigger. At the same time, he is huge. So he's already peaked out just about, Red Panda. I don't think he can get any bigger. The only thing he should be doing now is just carving up all of the muscle that he's built. He's built a lot of muscle, but it's all new muscle. It's not grainy like the great ones. It's not that daddy muscle, Red Panda.
Breaking news into CNN.
So, I mean, if you're my cousin's reached his limit. He's not getting any bigger. If he does get bigger, it's not going to be by much. I've not kept up with his doses, Quick Pump. But I know he's taking.
So an interesting thing is happening in MAGA these days when it comes to the media pundits.
But folks, get your questions in. We're just gonna chill out today. Like I said, I'm sorry that I started the show late. I was sleeping. I just fell asleep. I think he has a lot more to go in terms of weight. Those legs ain't gonna grow, Red Panda. If those legs were gonna grow, they would have done it already. And my cousin's training them hard enough. It's just, at this point in time, it's genetics. My cousin doesn't have good genetics when it comes to legs. He's doing great as far as, he's doing great in terms of upper body. I mean, the upper body is insane, but legs, Legs are just not working. So let's go ahead and play this one here.
There is a huge split when it comes to the...
Apparently, Trump went off on Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly, so...
Iran war, and when it comes to the Epstein files and stuff like that, right? So you have, like, Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes, Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson, even, like, Matt Walsh now is flirting with this position. They're against war with Iran. They're certainly against... I mean, I guess they were kind of okay with the quick...
He can't really blame that on knee issues. He just doesn't have good genetics when it comes to his legs.
Bombing thing that happened in the summer, but now they're like this, right? You also have Marjorie Taylor Greene, who was big-time MAGA, has, gone a little further away from that position recently since she's left Congress, and now she's more directly calling out Trump, right? But big split in the MAGA media class. And you have the Sean Hannitys and the traditional conservative Republic, the Laura Loomers and stuff, the Mark Levins, the Donald Trumps. They are still rah-rah, all pro-war, doing the war, etc. Now, it's a little misleading, though, because, yes, there's a big disagreement among the MAGA media class, and I do think that matters in the long run. However, having said that, among the MAGA voters, there is no disagreement. Before Trump did the bombing and the war in Iran, it was like anywhere between 40% to 55% of the Republican base said, I want to do war with Iran. So it was pretty low, all things considered, 40 to 55%. Then after Trump launched this illegal and offensive war with Netanyahu, with the axis of Epstein here, now it's all the way up to 85%, like that. Just like in the summer, it was at like 40 or 50% supported bombing Iran. After Trump did it, it shot up to 95% among MAGA Republicans. So it's actually true to say there's not much of a split among the actual voters. They go where Trump goes. In other words, yes, it is a terrorist.
That's right. MAGA voters go where Trump goes, okay? No matter what he does. It's like Trump says. He could walk out in broad daylight and shoot someone and never be convicted. Why? Because the MAGA voters are loyal. They will follow him to the fire. Literally.
Death cult. It is. That's what it is. That's what MAGA is. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So the split with the media pundits is not really reflective of where the base is. In fact, I'd venture to guess if you're Tucker Carlson now or Megyn Kelly or any of these people who are really speaking up against this, you probably are getting quite a bit of shit from people who used to like you because they've rented their brain out to a fat pedophile war criminal known as Donald Trump. Now, having said that, Donald Trump was given word that, hey man, these people who like you and are part of MAGA and who are in the media, they're pretty fucking mad and they don't agree with what you're doing here. And he fired Baksky. So we get this. Exclusive. In a phone call with me just now, Donald Trump hit back at MAGA world critics of his Iran gambit, including Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson. Kelly, quote, ought to study her history book a little bit, he said when asked the criticism on her show today. Tucker's criticism has no impact on me. That's what Trump said. And MAGA, POTUS told me, is with him. Quote, I think that MAGA is Trump. MAGA's not the other two, Trump said, referring to Kelly and Carlson. MAGA wants to see our country thrive and be safe, and MAGA loves what I'm doing
Exactly. MAGA is Trump. Okay? MAGA is Trump loyalists. People who will literally lay it down thick. When Trump tells them to do something, they say how high. MAGA is Trump. It's not Megyn Kelly. It's not Tucker Carlson, not Nick Fuentes, not Matt Walsh, not any of the Republicans in Congress. You know, it's just Trump. MAGA is Trump.
Aspect of it. In other words, he's saying, yeah, bitch, this is a cult and I'm the cult leader, motherfucker. Yeah, this is like Jim Jones. I'm Jim Jones. I'm the Kool-Aid handing out dude. That's what I do. Right? Somebody said the only difference between...
Now, just to correct you, Jim Jones handed out Flavor Aid, not Kool-Aid. Okay? It was Flavor Aid, not Kool-Aid. But Kool-Aid sounds better because people know what Kool-Aid is.
Trump and Jim Jones is Trump would charge you for the Kool-Aid before it kills you. Jim Jones would just give it to you. Iran, he added, quote, is a detour that we have to take in order to keep our country safe and keep other countries safe, frankly. So that's sort of an admission like, am I doing this for Israel? You bet your ass I'm doing this for Israel. Trump's comments come as the White House is flooding the zone to defend its attack on Iran, an offensive that peaks as early public polling suggests Americans disapprove of the campaign. So among the American public, I've seen numbers as low as like 21 to 25% that support the bombing and highs of like 39%, right? That's the range. So even though MAGA loves it, everybody else hates it. On Monday night, Vice President J.D. Vance took to Fox News with a clear message. This is not Iraq or Afghanistan. Oh, I'm sure, buddy. By the way, at the beginning of Iraq, they said this isn't Iraq. They said, oh, this will be like a couple weeks, maybe a couple months. And then over 20 years later, we're still motherfucking there. I'm told by the White House that the PR push will pull in other high-profile administration officials, too, including Steve Witkoff, the guy who's grifting off of foreign policy and personally profiting because he's a corrupt asshole, and Michael Waltz. That's the fucking Israeli spy who is involved in Signalgate. And we should expect frequent, if not daily, briefings by the Pentagon. The damage control effort follows some prominent Trump world allies questioning the need for the operation at all. On Monday, Kelly became the latest to assail the administration for fighting a war that she argued is not America First priorities. Here she is. So this is what Megyn Kelly said. Ready? Why are we doing this now? What was the catalyst? Kelly asked her millions of followers, adding that, I don't think those...
What's a catalyst? Iran, I mean, they were killing a bunch of protesters, 30,000 people that are dead. You gotta do something about it. Although Trump Trump has stated that they tried to assassinate him. There's still not that many details. I'm gonna be honest with you. We just need more information.
4 service members died for the United States. I think they died for Iran or for Israel. I have serious doubts about what we're doing. I support the president. I campaign for the president. But that doesn't mean you have to accept another Middle East war without question. And anybody who tells you that can suck it. Read some of Kelly's comments. Trump dismissed them. Kelly, quote, was opposed to me. She was opposed to me for years when I ran the first time, and nothing stopped me. And so, some people are against, and they always come back, he said comically. You know what's so devastating? That's actually accurate about MAGA. This has been my main bone to pick with these people. I mean, we talked about it when it came to fucking Dave Smith, who's one of the better people on the right. He's a libertarian. He's one of the better people. But he went from Trump, so this is in the first term, with Trump arming and funding genocide in Yemen by arming and funding Saudi Arabia and letting them do it, right? He goes, this is genocidal shit. Not only should he be in prison, he should be buried under the prison, Dave Smith said. Cut to 2024, he goes, I think I'm going to vote Trump. See, there's my problem. Because even sometimes when you get somebody on the right might have a moment of clarity and lucidity where they say the right thing. You tune in 2 weeks later and Trump does some other dumb bullshit and they're like, I may have been mad before, but I sure do love this thing where he's like saying fuck you to trans people and trying to take away their health care. That's awesome. So it's back, forth. And he's not wrong. He's not wrong. He says she was opposed to me at first and then she hopped on the bandwagon because my force of personality is stronger than hers. That's exactly right. And he goes, some people might be against, but they always come back. That's exactly right. Now, having said that, though, and this is my question for you guys, I do believe the Jeffrey Epstein war is going to be such a fucking disaster that it already is, right? I mean, we're watching them commit genocide on live TV. And we're watching our bases get bombed and all that stuff. I think he's going to go to his floor. I think his floor is in the near future. And as I've always told you guys, his floor is anywhere from like 25% to 33%. Once he falls in that range, he literally can't go any lower because everybody else is card-carrying members of the terrorist death cult who just literally Donald Trump can rape their moms and shoot them in the face right in front of them and they would just be like, I love my Donald Trump. So he's never going to go below that. But I think this will get to the floor. So even though he's right, talking about the media pundits like, oh, you always come back, you sad motherfuckers. He actually might be wrong in the long run because, yes, it's happened every time to this point, but, I mean, you don't have the sauce anymore, dog. You don't have the sauce. The thing is, he could get away with some shit when, the economy was doing okay. And now it's everything is crumbling around him. Everything. And so I don't know exactly what that floor is, whether it's 25% or 28% or 33%, but, he's going to fucking hit it. He's going to hit it. And so it's actually, I do think in the long run, it's kind of intelligent what Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson and these people are doing because they're realizing Trump's 80 years old. He's literally rotting away in front of us, as we'll talk about in a little bit. I don't know how much longer he is for this earth. He's high in his own supply. He's clearly losing his mind and showing signs of Alzheimer's. He's warmongering like nobody's business. He's destroying the economy. So where am I going to be in 7 years? Right? If I just hitch my wagon to this asshole until the fucking Titanic crashes into the iceberg, why would I do that? I need to start distancing myself now.
You can't. You're tied to the hip. You're on the Trump train for the next almost 3 years.
So there's complex dynamics at play here. You see what I'm saying? And so I think these guys in the long run actually are the smarter ones because there is going to have to be a Republican Party after MAGA, after Trump. And right now,
No, MAGA is going to run for another 20 or 30 years. After Donald Trump is gone, you got Donald Trump Jr., he's got sons, he's got Barron. This is another dynasty, no different than the Kennedys. MAGA is going to continue long after Trump is gone.
Fucking stench that's all over JD Vance and all over Marco.
See, the problem is here's the problem. People think that once Donald Trump is gone, he's finished his 3 years, MAGA is going to disappear. It's not going to disappear. It's going to be like the Kennedys. You got, there's Trump Jr., there's Barron Trump. I mean, These people are still going to be around.
Rubio and all over Tulsi Gabbard and RFK and all these loathsome, vapid, vile, empty cretins, like, they're cooked. They're done. When this is over, I mean, they're going to have to go get a job at Denny's, all right? They're going to have to go to Arby's and sign up there because
There's nothing wrong with a job at Denny's. You get good tips there.
there ain't going to be anything left for you in politics because the world is going to be done with you guys. All right, they continue here. Worth noting, there's a belief among some insiders that Republicans will give the president the benefit of the doubt and eventually come around. A senior White House official told me this afternoon that we are in the first inning of a 9-inning game. All right, well, if that's the case, you motherfuckers are down like 12-0 already. Quote, the Panicans need to relax, the person said, referring to Trump's nickname for worrywart Republicans. The president and cabinet will continue to make the case about why this was necessary. How can it be necessary when you guys started it? You did the illegal attack. You did the offensive attack. They had agreed to your uranium demands, and you still attacked them. By definition, that is not necessary. There are questions in Trump world about how deep the MAGA fracture actually runs. Some argue that while these voices of dissent may be loud with large followings, they don't constitute a majority of Republicans. But other Republicans argue that logic merely papers over GOP fractures that now need to be repaired ahead of the midterms. Even if, say, 30% of Republicans are on the other side of this issue from the White House, that could cause some major problems for the Electoral Coalition. And they are, right? And they are. Or we're getting there. It's you know, like I said, what is 85% at this moment? But last time he did it was 95%. So, like, it's going one direction and it ain't up. All right. One Republican operative involved in multiple statewide races across the country told me,
Arby's is actually pretty good. I like Arby's, Red Panda. Despite what Jon Stewart says, Arby's, they have pretty good food. People like roast beef, you know. Literally. I mean, the thing about Arby's is it's well controlled and it's well managed. And that's the key to them staying in business. They're the only fast food restaurant that sells roast beef.
this person argued, it's hard to see how the politics play out favorably, and the real question is how fast the administration can wrap up the job and pivot. I mean, it really is one of those things where, like, he's really pushing it as far as he can go. It's almost like he's testing the cult. Like, okay, are you really a death cult? Let's see how far you'll go, right? It almost feels like that. I mean, it's not. It's really about, like, he's blackmailed by Mossad, and he's also a warmonger, and, you know, he's a fucking idiot. Like, it's more about that. But this fundamentally is a test for the cult. And, you know, he's pushing the boundary as much as he possibly can. And we're at the point now where, like, what else would he have to do to prove he's evil, sadistic, and stupid? Like, does he actually have to nuke Iran? Does he actually have to nuke Iran? Because that's on the motherfucking table now. And when he does that, what's the reaction going to be? I got to tell you the truth, though. I'm sickened at the fact that there hasn't been impeachment. There hasn't been a movement to impeach. There hasn't been impeachment. There has been no talk of the 25th Amendment. Because, like, we're already talking about an illegal and offensive war against a country that didn't attack us. They're saying boots on the ground are inevitable. They're admitting we attacked first. They're carpet bombing innocent civilians. What the fuck else would he have to do?
Nothing. Like I said, Trump is president. What he says goes. Any Republican that goes against him is career suicide. Look at Dan Crenshaw. This guy was a Navy SEAL. At one time, untouchable. Trump doesn't give an endorsement. He's gone now. MAGA runs the Republican Party. They should no longer even call it the Republican Party. They should just change the name to MAGA.
Lying about every single element of this. What would he have to do? Like, I don't understand. Do we have literally zero morals left, zero ethics left, zero intelligence left? And apparently the answer is yes. But Trump is now fed up with the minor, might I add, minor criticism being lobbied his way by some MAGA media figures. And I don't know. It'll be interesting to see it play out. But I do sense that in the near future, he's going to dip. I really think he'll have a 29% poll come out at some point soon. I think he already had a 29% poll that was supposed to come out from Gallup, and that's why they decided, hey, we're not tracking the president's numbers anymore, y'all. Remember that? I think they did that because they realized the number was so low that if they released it, Trump would, like, do the thing where he sues them or he, you know, comes after them or audits them or whatever. I think they were just like, let's just not release this. So I think we're already there. But certainly if we weren't there already, in the near future, there's going to be like a 29% banger. So he's definitely out over his skis. And he's no longer has his A game. Motherfucker doesn't even have his C game anymore. Hey, y'all, do me a favor.
No, let's not do you a favor. I mean, at this point in time, they got to change the party name. It makes no sense. It's no longer it's not been the Republican Party for quite some time. But the reason why I did that video beforehand, we're going to go a little bit over, folks, just to let you know. Because as you guys know, Arnold's this weekend. Red Panda, I've not eaten at Arby's in well over a year. And usually when I go there, I have those gyros. Their gyros, they slap. They're pretty good. I like the gyros. Besides, I'll eat what I damn well please. Hold on a minute. So we gotta. I always like Nick's strength and power when it comes to these updates because he seems to be in tune. So let's get an update on everything as far as this weekend's Arnold. And in case you guys are wondering, no, I'm not going to be there.
All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys.
And this right here is what Sam Sulek has to go up against. He's going to get killed. I mean, but like I said, Sam Sulek, I think he's going to do fairly well. But look how carved up Mike Summerfield's legs are. But he has missed weight. But it's okay.
Today, the first story that I've got for you guys today, the most interesting story of the day, Mike Summerfeld officially misses weight for Classic Physique. This is a game changer here. Mike Summerfeld apparently went into this weigh-in expecting to be taller than he was at the Olympia and expecting to be rehydrated. My understanding is they weren't rehydrated, and he was off by about 7 pounds. So this is concerning because they told everybody at the Olympia that once you're heighted at the Olympia, that's your new height going forward until the next Olympia where they would be rehydrated. Now, the interesting thing about this is that what I'm hearing is Mike has the opportunity potentially, like it's on the table, that he could compete in the open class. So it sounds like...
I mean, he should be able to get his weight down. I mean, it's like 7 freaking pounds. That's nothing.
There's a good chance that he is actually out of the Classic Physique division, which is a major development here. This is
He's not out. Trust me.
Big. Because obviously, I think most people had Mike as the favorite to win this Arnold Classic Physique lineup. So if Mike is truly out, which it sounds like he is, I'm assuming we're going to get some type of official announcement soon, hopefully today, as to whether or not he is. Because look, even if he had an hour or two to try to make weight, if he's off by 7 pounds, I don't know how, well, one, possible, or two, safe it would be to try to lose 7 pounds in an hour. So it might just be the better option altogether to say, okay, just do open. Don't even try to do this. Don't try to make weight. You're off by way too much. You came here, you traveled here, you've been prepping for this show. This is an invitational show. We can extend an invitation for you to just do the open class. You're here, you're ready, but you missed weight. You still could compete in open. I think that, and I'm hearing that's on the table. I think that might be the better option here.
Oh, he is going to compete in the open? Okay. So that's going to be one less person, quick pump, that Sam Sulek has to worry about.
But this, without a doubt, impacts this lineup tremendously because almost certainly, even if you didn't have Mike winning, he was going to be top 3. I think this moves so many people in the Classic Physique division up by at least 1 placing. So if you had Sam Sulek, for example, in 7th place or 6th place, that could move him up to the top 5. And if you had him outside of the top 6, that moves him into the top 6 potentially.
Well, here's the thing there, Red Panda. Here's the thing. At the end of the day, Mike Summerfield has what's called sponsors, okay? So if he didn't compete, the sponsors are going to be mad, okay? When I was rolling with ALR Industries, they had an expectation for me to compete at the 2009 NGA Night of Champions, okay? You have what's called obligations. Hell or high water, you got to compete. That's the same thing that happened to Cedric McMillan. That's why he passed away, because he was trying to fulfill his obligations to compete again. Even though he already knew that he was in deep trouble and that he was having medical issues. He should have retired a long time ago. If he had retired at his general age, he wouldn't be dead. That's the same with Sean Roden. You know, he still has his masters that he has to answer to, and that's the sponsors. So Mike Summerfield's competing for his sponsors there. I mean, that's what all pro athletes are competing for. They're competing for their sponsors. Because you got to remember this, Red Panda. It costs tens of thousands of dollars to have the drugs and all the other stuff that goes along with it, travel expenses and everything, to do a competitive bodybuilding show. Even if you win first place, the cost of actually doing that show usually exceeds how much you spend in it as far as prize money. So that's the reason you got to answer to the sponsors, because a bodybuilding competitor as a pro athlete cannot make a living off prize money. Not even Ronnie Coleman. You have to have sponsors. So Mike Summerfield has no choice but to compete. I mean, he's going to compete. I already knew he was going to compete. Hell or high water. Because the competition isn't about winning. It's about appeasing your sponsors. NGA stands for National Gym Association.
Depending on where you had him in your predictions. Now, it's still unclear what's going to happen with Mike. Honestly, I think they should let him compete in open, even though, honestly, it's fully his responsibility to make weight. He knew what he had to weigh. He knew what he had to weigh at the Olympia. He knew what his real height was. I think this falls squarely on Mike's shoulders and nobody else's. But I'll be honest, I still want to see Mike compete this weekend. I think him competing in open would be exciting. And it makes me wonder, if you think back to when his coach, Neil Hill, was saying, we're behind schedule at 5 or 6 weeks out or whatever, maybe he was not just referring to Mike's look at that time, but maybe he was also referring to Mike's weight at that time. Maybe his coach knew, you're way too heavy at this point, and we got 5 weeks to go. And I think, look, the reality is this puts Wesley Vissers in a prime position. I think Wesley is the favorite to win if Mike is officially out. Wesley Vissers might regain that title here. I don't know when we're going to find out what exactly is going down with this, if Mike is actually out or not. It has not been given how long he has to try to correct this. I don't think it's any significant amount of time, though. It's not like he can come back tomorrow and say, okay, now I'm ready. The weigh-ins are today, and I believe it's just an hour, maybe 2, for him to make weight. So I think it seems like he's not doing Classic. That seems to be what it is at this point. But in addition to Mike, Gabriel Zancanelli apparently had an incident earlier this week. I believe he slipped and injured his leg was what happened. Now, this has been confirmed now by the Brazilian media channels. Gabriel is from Brazil. It looks like he is officially out of the show. Gabriel Zancanelli is out. So if him and Mike are both out, that's 2 guys that I believe would have been in the top 6 that are now, this is 2 placings that somebody like Sam could move up. And I mentioned Sam because I think Sam was...
Yeah, I heard about Zancanelli. Man, that really sucks. You slip on some ice here and stuff.
Was likely going to be outside of the top 6. So I'm not really mentioning guys that were in the top 6 aside from Wesley. Because if you were going to be outside of the top 6, moving up 2 placings is pretty significant. If you had Sam in your predictions in 6th place, now you could be talking about Sam in 4th. And then even if you had Sam in your predictions in, let's say, 8th place, now you could be talking about Sam in the top 6. So while this is sad for the guys that are out, especially Mike, because I think Mike was going to win this show had he made weight, it's really good news for somebody making their pro debut that was maybe going to be on the outside looking in of that core, 6 guys or so. Now there's 2 placings that are wide open to move up, potentially. I don't know what exactly is going to happen with Mike, but from what I'm hearing, I don't think he's going to make weight, and I think he is going to be out of classic physique. So these are pretty significant developments. And then from Wesley Vissers, he says that he made weight, he made height, he's 6'3", he weighed exactly what he was supposed to weigh. And like I said, I think Wesley is in a prime position right now to potentially win this show. I think this is...
You think? Yeah, I think Wesley's got this one locked up.
Now Wesley's show, depending on what happens with Mike. And I got to say, this classic physique division has given us the bulk of our entertainment going into the Arnold Classic as far as exciting stories and physique updates. As I sit here recording this in my hotel room, we're still not really seeing or hearing anything significant from or about the open bodybuilders competing in the Arnold Classic. The majority of the physique updates that we saw going into this show were from classic physique guys. And now, the day before the show, the biggest news is coming out of the classic physique division yet again. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think Mike should be allowed to compete in the open class? What do you think about the fact that he missed weight yet again? Is there...
He can't, since Ron has already said that, like I said before, he's an IFBB pro, so he can just as well compete in the open. So, but Ron Harris has already said he's going to compete in the open, so yeah, it opens up the field a bunch. The problem is that other people are going to step up too. We don't know what everybody else that's competing is going to look like. That's just assuming that, Sam Sulek is going to squeeze in that position. Everyone wants Sam Sulek to be first, but in the cards, that's just not going to happen.
Really any excuse for it at this point, him knowing what...
Was I 7 years drug-free? Yeah. By NGA standards, I was.
He was supposed to weigh. And then additionally, what are your new predictions for Classic Physique with Mike being out? Who do you have winning? What's your new top 6? Mike and Gabriel. What's that top 6 going to look like now? Now, the final story that I've got for you guys today. Sergio Oliva Jr. is now also out of the New York Pro. This is the second name this week that is pulled out from New York.
He didn't stand a chance anyway, so that's not important. I like Sergio. I especially like his daddy, but it makes no difference.
Since first due to an illness, and now Sergio Oliva Jr. pulling out due to a bicep tear. Now the only really big name that I know of doing the New York show is still Michael Crizzo. So pretty major development, 2 major developments for New York this week with 2 of their biggest stars pulling out of the show. Sergio Oliva Jr. Is a former New York Pro champion. Urs Kalsinski, one of the most exciting guys in men's open bodybuilding right now after his transition from Classic Physique. So the New York Pro suffering a bit here. But this Arnold Classic news is pretty fascinating. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the...
You know what I think, folks? It really doesn't make any real difference. You see, we hear all of the big names, and everyone thinks because Sam Sulek is going to automatically move up 2 places. That's not the way it works. I wish it worked that way, but it just doesn't. No, I didn't see it there. That would be very interesting because John Brown is Sean Ray's mentor. who showed him everything. Yeah, Wesley Vissers, I think this is his now because a lot of his main competition is gone. But like I said, folks, we don't know what everyone else looks like. Anyone that's competed, even someone that took 10th, you know they got to have improved. Everyone improves show to show, or supposed to. But folks, it is 7:08 p.m. and that is the end of Happy Hour. I want to thank my boy Matty Matt for donating. Sorry that little signal, the alert box doesn't work again. I honestly don't know what's going on at this point. But I'm getting sick and tired of Streamlabs. But what can I do, folks? But I am out of here, and as always, peace and soul.